For a lot of people, 2018 was the peak year of Fortnite, but why was this the case? Today we're gonna look back at some of the best seasons from this year and what made them so good, so let's just get straight into it. Season 3 with the space theme was one of the best seasons from Chapter 1. It launched during February 2018 and ended on the 30th of April, lasting 67 days in total. Just like with most iconic seasons, this Battle Pass had some amazing skins. Some of the standout ones include Elite Agent, Dark Voyager, and the best of them all, the Tier 100 outfit, the Reaper. This was the unofficial John Wick skin, and if you saw somebody wearing this with the wings backbling, it was game over. If you know, you know. That was one of the most iconic skin combos back then, mainly due to this video that was posted back then. The memes around the John Wick skin were crazy, with the classic player using this outfit being insane at building, usually building an airport if they got shot once. But it wasn't just the skins that were so good this season, the map was also perfect. We already received the map update the previous season with Tilted Towers and many others, but this season we did receive a smaller update, adding another location, Lucky Landing. This was one of my personal favourite POIs from Chapter 1. The theme of this location was great, and it was a fan favourite. We also received the hunting rifle in that same update, which was so much fun to use and still an iconic weapon. When the season launched, we still had iconic weapons like Double Pump, but we did also receive the hand cannon, which was quite OP at first. A lot of people were even rocking the pump and deagle combo, using the deagle to one-shot builds, and the pump to deal player damage. It was essentially a new version of Double Pump, and it was a great combo to use. However, there was one thing that made this season iconic, that one ninja stream with Drake. This literally blew up the internet, breaking the Twitch record at the time, with 600,000 people watching the stream. This was definitely one of the standout moments from Season 3, Ninja and Drake playing a couple games, some iconic clips and gameplays, and this will forever go down in Fortnite history. A very iconic moment that literally blew up the internet. But this season was one of the peaks. It felt like literally everyone was playing the game, from popular streamers to people who aren't even gamers. The game was so big that it felt like the whole world was playing and talking about it. This season was arguably where Ninja peaked. He had so many iconic clips and gameplays this season. If you look up compilations of Ninja's best moments, a lot of the clips will be from Season 3. It was truly an amazing time. But we also saw the Easter update this season, receiving cool new skins and weapons like the egg launcher, keeping things fresh. In addition to this, we saw the introduction of llamas, which were so unique at the time, such an amazing addition. The concept of llamas being in each game, dropping loot and materials was amazing. And we can't forget about the introduction of vending machines, where you could spend materials in exchange for different weapons that spawned in. It was an amazing new update and some great new items. The season had so many iconic skins, and if you were playing back then you'll probably feel nostalgic when I say Leviathan, Wukong, and Havoc. So many people were using these skins, especially Havoc, as that was a new skin we received that season with the Twitch Prime promotion. Other popular skins included Rex, Raptor, and Battlehound. These bring back a lot of nostalgia. But let's go back to the Battle Pass. It wasn't just the skins that stood out, the emotes were just as good. Take the L, Robot, Best Mates being some of the standout emotes. These are still iconic to this day, with Take the L still being one of the most used emotes 4 chapters later. This is definitely one of my all-time favourite seasons, but not the best in my opinion. That was the following season. Season 4 is one of the standout seasons of Fortnite, and this season launched on May 1st, 2018 and ended on July 11th, lasting just over 2 months. For a lot of people, including myself, those 2 months were some of the best times, and Season 4 was definitely one of the best seasons the game has ever seen. But what made it so iconic? Let's start with the Battle Pass. Every great season has a great Battle Pass, and this definitely delivered. We had several amazing skins, including Omega and Carbide, as this season was a superhero theme, obviously not a crossover with Marvel or anything like that. And the skins were great. The Omega, still to this day, is one of my all-time favourite skins. As we all know, you were able to unlock the neon lights through reaching level 80 that season, and that was a real grind to unlock. XP wasn't as easy to gain, creative didn't even exist, so you really had to grind the game that season to get those neon styles. Although one thing I do remember that was in the game back then is battle stars. This is where you could view the new loading screens, and then you could find the hidden location for them and redeem them for XP. Only OGs remember these feel so nostalgic. Moving on from the battle pass, the map was great. We received the new POI Dusty Divot, which was obviously Dusty Depot after being hit by a meteor. This was a great location, and it had hop rocks all around the crater where you could absorb these for special hop effects, and these also feel so nostalgic. These were great additions to that POI. But one of the best things from this season was the Infinity Gauntlet LTM. Still the best ever LTM to this day in my opinion. This was where you could become Thanos through obtaining the gauntlet in this game mode, and there was only one per game, and you could have the powers of Thanos and it didn't even feel that overpowered. But obviously if you were Thanos then you were a lot more powerful, and you did have those advantages through the different beams, and you could jump into the sky and crash down. One of the most fun game modes of all time. It was a great one. And if you were playing back in Season 4, you'll remember something called Friday Fortnite. This was an event where loads of different streamers and YouTubers played in, and it was really unique. There would be 4 people in the lobby. They'd load into a squads game, but they were split into 2 teams of 2, so basically 2 duos against each other, although they are in a squads game. And it was a great format. So for example, I remember one being Nick A30, Pro Hennis, Tfue and Cloaksy. The teams were Tfue and Cloaksy against Nick and Hennis, and whichever duo had the most combined kills between them would win the round. Coming home from school on a Friday to play this season and watch the tournament was great vibes. But let's not forget about the rocket launch, the first ever live event, which took place towards the end of the season. This was crazy at the time. It was something that was so different and unique. No other game had done anything like this before, and it was an amazing event as well, especially because it was the first ever live event. There was so much hype around this, and it was definitely a great moment from that season. Everything does feel so iconic from this season, from the lobby background to the loading screens. Truly some of the best loading screens to this day. They do bring back a lot of memories. The loot pool was also great this season. We just had the regular ARs, pumps, tacs, SMGs, snipers, no anime mythic weapons or anything like that. It was also a great version of the map. Dusty Divot, Tilted, Risky Reels, Greasy Grove, Retail, Pleasant, Salty, so many iconic locations. But there is one thing we have to mention from this season. You may remember a channel called Fortnite Funny. They used to post compilations and funny moments videos, and they were a very big channel this season, and their intro is so nostalgic to watch now. The music that was popular back then is great to look back on, and this kind of feels like the national anthem for this season. Obviously can't play it for copyright reasons, but if you search Fortnite Funny Season 4 intro, you'll know what I mean. It feels so nostalgic, especially if you were playing back then. And also a quick shout out to the shopping carts as well. These were added during this season, the first ever form of vehicle in the game. And the memes around these were amazing. So many memories and funny moments based on this vehicle, and I think we all remember that Ali A clip. And of course, we have to talk about some of the popular streamers during this season. People like Ninja, Tfue, Nick A30, Myth, Mind of Rez, and many more were popping off this season, pulling millions of video views and thousands of livestream views. Tfue had an iconic gameplay from this season, where he hit that famous 250 meter no-scope across the map, as well as some other crazy moments. Probably the greatest solo game I've ever watched, an iconic video that came from this season. He was so good that people were accusing him of having aimbot. That was a crazy time. When you say the words Prime Fortnite, this season comes to mind. Season 4, a great map, great LTMs, amazing event, legendary battle pass, streamers in their primes, and of course the fantastic gameplay this season made the game so fun to play. I've said it before, I think this is my favourite season of all time. You could call it nostalgia, but the amount of memories created and fun experienced during this season was something else. Chapter 1 Season 5. What made this season so legendary? This season launched on July 12, 2018 and ended on September 26, lasting just over 2 months. For me, this was one of the best seasons, mainly because of the great vibes during this season. It was during the summer, Fortnite felt like it was at its peak, and it feels very nostalgic to look back on. The feeling of coming home from school to play the new season and unlock the new battle pass was amazing, and this season had so many great aspects. So let's start with the battle pass. The standout skins were Ragnarok and Drift, which had several different styles and were great looking outfits. I'd say this battle pass was a solid 9 out of 10, many great things in this. But let's talk about the map. We said goodbye to Moisty Mire at the expense of the brand new desert biome featuring Paradise Palms, one of my all-time favourite POIs. If this wasn't enough, we also had Lazy Links with the golf-themed area, which was also one of my favourites as well. Along with this, we received the first ever proper form of vehicle this season with the ATKs. These were a great way to get around the map because remember, cars didn't exist back then. This definitely felt like one of Fortnite's primes. This season suited the summer season in real life and it was great fun. But we have to mention one of the best things from this season, the introduction of the Playground mode. Creative didn't exist back then, but Playground mode was such a fun new mode to play. We could land into the map privately or with friends and farm up materials to build and do whatever you liked. And farming materials was easier as it was 10 times the amount of regular that you'd usually get, so you could just quickly land up and get to 999 wood in a matter of seconds. Although now this seems pretty basic, at the time this was so exciting and it introduced that new sense of freedom and creativity for players to unlock and experience the game in a new way. Even the lobby background feels so nostalgic from this season as well, with the desert theme which matched the season perfect. But let's not forget about Kevin the Cube. This was a crazy time when a big purple cube randomly spawned into the map, and it ended up being quite a big part of the storyline that chapter, slowly travelling around the map and leaving its ruin markings behind, which led on to be different locations during Season 6. Then, later in the chapter, it melted into Loot Lake, although we still don't know the real reason where it came from and why it appeared. And one of my favourite locations from this season wasn't a named location, but the community called it Viking Village. On top of the hill, it was a great place to land at. With the huge Viking boat, it was a great place to go. Another non-named location was Westworld, which was one of the best places to land this season. We also received rifts for the first time ever as well this season, which was a great new feature where obviously you could jump in them and glide around the map, so another great form of mobility. We can't forget about the amazing birthday event this season as well, where Fortnite placed loads of birthday cakes around the map to consume for HP, as well as challenges to complete to unlock some really cool free rewards. Another cool feature this season was the brand new Victory Royale logo, which was definitely an upgrade. And if you were playing back then you'd remember the theme song of that season. Can't play it for copyright reasons, but whenever I hear this song it reminds me of summer 2018 and this season. When looking back at videos from this season, it's clear to see by looking at the comments how much people enjoyed it. A lot of people say it's the best ever season, and although I wouldn't go that far, it was definitely one of my favourites from Chapter 1, and a season that's linked with many great memories. Tfue was probably the biggest streamer this season. He was always dropping high kill solo squad games and doing crazy stuff, as well as being an insane player. He was a huge streamer, so he is definitely one of the key figures from this season as well. Fortnite Season 7, a time where Fortnite felt like it was at one of its peaks. POV, it's a cold winter day in 2018. You've just hopped online to play some squads with the team, the new season has dropped, it's snowing outside, and you grind some victory royales all night. This season had amazing vibes with it being winter. At the time it felt like a normal season, but looking back it was definitely one of the best. So let's start with the battle pass. It was decent, with the standout outfit being Ice King. I'd give this a solid 7 out of 10. It wasn't the best, but it was the other aspects of the season that made it so special, such as the map. During this season we had the Ice King event, which was a pretty average event, but it did end up covering the map in snow. We had a few new POIs this season featuring Happy Hamlet, Polar Peak, and Frosty Flights. One of the standout features this season was planes. At first they were quite OP, destroying builds and making it a pain to defend yourself against them with the turret it had, but they were eventually nerfed during the season, not being able to destroy through builds, which made them more balanced. With most of the seasons, the things that made them good were features such as the battle pass, loot pool, mobility, balance of the game, cool new features, and stuff like that. Whereas with this season, it was just the great vibes that made it so good. Things from the loading screens to the lobby background and the music make it so nostalgic. When you look back at old edits of this season, people look back on how good this time period was. Looking at the comments from content made around this season, it's clear how much people liked it. Many people consider it one of the best seasons of all time. For me, who's been playing since 2017, this is definitely one of my favourite times of Fortnite. Hopping on during Christmas break to unlock the new battle pass and grind the new season hit different. Standout items from this season include the presents, which you could throw down, open and break into, and they were filled with loot. We also had boom boxes, which were unique, they did destroy builds. And we also had heavy snipers added, which were a great new addition. And how could we forget the Infinity Blade, which was a little bit overpowered but fun at the same time. We also had hoverboards, which were cool and decent for mobility, but going back to the map, this version was really good in my opinion. We had the snow biome, the regular and the desert biome, which made it very versatile and refreshing compared to previous seasons, because we had several different biomes. And how can I forget about the quad bikes as well? These were amazing. Lastly, we can't forget about the Marshmallow event, which took place during this season before the map was covered in snow. This was one of the best events from Chapter 1, a really cool concert featuring some amazing tracks, where we also received the first ever icon skin with Marshmallow. This live event also feels really nostalgic, it was a great experience, and it was the first ever concert, making it a huge standout moment at the time, and something to look back on. So that is pretty much everything. The feeling of loading up Fortnite on a cold winter night in 2018, having a hot chocolate on your desk and playing all night, is truly what makes this one of the best ever seasons. So there you have it, Season 3, 4, 5 and 7 were some of the best ever seasons, and it made for one of the best years of Fortnite. But what was your favourite season from 2018? Let me know in the comments down below. And for now, there's a load more videos on screen here. Make sure to click another one to keep on watching, and I'll see you over there.